In August 1914, the Austro-Hungarian First Army was advancing blindly. General Victor Dankel's forces were marching into the Galician theater, a sprawling, unknown landscape of dense pine forests and swamps. Standing in their way was the Russian army, which had deployed a massive, impenetrable cavalry screen across the entire front line. 36 squadrons of Russian cavalry stretched across a 300-mile front. This massive concentration of mounted soldiers formed a physical barrier that blocked every Austro-Hungarian ground patrol attempting to locate the Russian forces. Without knowing where the Russian forces were massing, the First Army walked straight into a trap. To survive 20th century warfare, command had to figure out how to bypass the ultimate weapon of the 19th century by going entirely over it. The solution fell to the newly formed aviation troops, the KUK Luftfahrtruppen, and their primary reconnaissance tool, the Lohner biplane. These aircraft were built by Jacob Lohner and Company, a firm that specialized in luxury carriages. They constructed the airframes using wood veneer, lamination, and canvas. The planes carried no military-grade armor and no mounted weaponry. Getting these fragile machines to the front lines introduced intense logistical friction. They had to be shipped in heavy wooden crates by a rail from central depots out to open grasslands near the front. Ground crews assembled the aircraft inside temporary canvas tents. When violent Galician summer storms rolled through, those tents were frequently shredded, collapsing directly onto the delicate planes and causing major structural damage. To solve a massive intelligence crisis, the Army relied on an unarmed wooden carriage that required perfect weather just to survive sitting on the ground. Between August 18th and 21st, aviation companies launched a series of intelligence flights. They ascended above the Galician forests, attempting to map the Russian lines and bypass the cavalry screen entirely. To avoid Russian infantry rifle fire from the ground, the unarmed crews were forced to fly at altitudes between 400 and 800 meters. While that altitude protected the crew from bullets, it exposed them to a much deadlier threat: the physical limitations of their own pre-war racing engines. By bypassing the cavalry screen, aviators traded a human enemy for a mechanical one, putting the fate of the entire army in the hands of engines never designed for sustained combat loads. The core vulnerability lived right in the nose of the aircraft. The 90-horsepower Austro-Daimler engines relied on heavy copper jacket radiators, which were completely exposed to the environment. Taking off from unpaved Galician dirt runways kicked up massive clouds of summer dust, instantly clogging the radiator's cooling fins. This caused immediate thermal fatigue. Without proper airflow, engine temperatures spiked, causing the metal cylinder heads to physically warp and the valves to stick in place. Compounding the heat was the swept-back design of the Lohner's wings. While good for stability, it created heavy aerodynamic drag, forcing the suffocating engine to work even harder to keep the plane airborne. The human cost of this mechanical reality hit on August 17th, when a crew suffered catastrophic engine failure and was forced to emergency land in rough terrain behind enemy lines. Every reconnaissance mission was a ticking clock against the melting point of their own machinery. On August 22, 1914, the eve of the Battle of Kraśnik, the Austro-Hungarian command was desperate for immediate intelligence to prevent a flanking attack. A flight crew pushed their fragile biplane past all known physical limits. They executed a continuous 350-kilometer flight from Chesnov to Volodymyr-Volynskyi and back, keeping the engine alive for exactly 270 minutes. Looking down past the cavalry screen, they spotted massive Russian troop trains and field airfields massing for an offensive. This map shows the resulting troop movements at Kraśnik. By handing this real-time visual intelligence directly to command, the First Army was able to counter the Russian maneuvers and secure a victory. Despite the mechanical failures and fragile frames, this 350-kilometer flight gathered the exact intelligence the cavalry screen was designed to hide. It proved that for the first time, a dense wall of horsemen could be bypassed by a single engine that didn't melt.